A genuine question. Does anyone actually use the stag? Not even like use it occasionally, but ever? I mean, I tried it once when it was first released. I didn't particularly care for the chance to spawn with an overshield or have a faster supercharge while I was the last guardian standing, so I cast it off into the vault with a handful of other exotics and waited for a redefining buff. But that never happened. In the last 16 months or so that the stag has been in the game, I've probably only ever seen it 4 times. Why is this the case? You would think in smaller game modes like Trials, and to a lesser extent Skirmish and Salvage, being the last guardian standing is relatively common, and reviving is extremely common. So an exotic that caters to both of these features sounds optimal for these game modes. In my opinion, given the way Trials is played by most teams, it typically isn't beneficial to be the last guardian standing for an extended amount of time, as the exotic perk suggests. Before I get into any specifics, I'll quickly go over all the perks and loadouts before I get into a build for the stag. So like a lot of exotic helms, you can reroll the perks to your liking. You really can't go wrong with Inverse Shadow and Better Already for most scenarios, but given the stag is more tuned to PvP, maybe going with Ashes to Asset would be a better choice than Inverse Shadow. The stat choices are also optional. The exotic perk gives you faster super cooldown when you're the last guardian standing, once per life, and gives you a chance to spawn with an overshield. Both of those features are interesting in their own right, but their usefulness plummets when you consider how Trials is played these days. These perks are mutually exclusive to any subclass as well, so there is no specific build for the stag. Go with what you like. So I mentioned that the stag is tuned to PvP, but it isn't ideal for several reasons. Let's look at them now. So you have a chance to get an overshield when you're revived. This would be interesting against a group of shotgunners or fusion riflers, but snipers would laugh at the overshield. Snipers have long been spawn locking revived guardians through their overshields, and given the rise of the higher impact snipers like the Event Horizon and the Raid Ex Machina, you'll find it even more unlikely to survive a revive. The problem with this perk exists because Trials is heavy on the snipers, but against other special weapons and primaries it can be pretty useful. The other problem is the fact that it only has a chance to spawn, and most serious players don't rely on RNG to get them out of a jam. Okay, so how about the other perk? Have a faster super cooldown when you're the last guardian standing. I remember seeing a video by Slayerage a long time ago, talking about basic tactics and Trials. I believe it was actually the first point he made in the video, but he showed an example of a Trials round on the Burning Shrine, where 2 guardians heavy rushed them off spawn. The 2 rushing guardians died, and instead of Slayerage's team pushing the last guardian as it's a 3v1 in his case, he would just sit back, fire up some potential warning shots, and just patrol the dead guardian's ghosts. Their objective wasn't to kill the last guardian, but just to stop him from picking up his teammates. Why? Because supers are game changers in Trials, and passively charging 3 supers is far better than charging 1. So the last guardian standing has 2 options. Either have the stag equipped and wait for it to charge his super, assuming he equipped it before the round started, or you could try to make a play. Just to make it linear, say the stag charges your super 3 times faster than normal, and the other team is charging their supers normally. But there's 3 of them. 1 super in a third of the time versus 3 supers in normal time. How you value that is your call, but I would personally try to make a play, most likely a suicide mission, but at least you're not giving the opponents much of a chance to charge their supers. I've even seen players take the making a play system to a new level and simply jump off the map to deny the enemy team from getting super energy just from killing you. I went off on a pretty long example there, but I think you get the point. Staying alive as the last guardian standing in Trials for an extended amount of time isn't worthwhile, despite having an exotic that charges your super faster. So where would the stag be useful? Well, in Trials or just elimination, it can have its moments. Maybe against a group that isn't sniping. It can also work in PvE, but the situations where you are the last guardian standing are pretty rare, particularly for more than a few seconds at a time. The overshield could be something else, but given it's only a chance to proc, and it's just an overshield, there are so many better warlock exotics out there that do so much more than the stag. So in short, just don't use it. I hope I was able to provide you with some insight into the warlock exotic helmet, the stag. If you like this sort of thing, feel free to subscribe, and I'll catch you later.